Welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, the presidential elections have certainly thrown up some very new interesting equations, especially within the opposition, what with the JDU breaking ranks and actually voting with the government's candidate. Now, is this a one-time affair or is it actually a permanent state of things? And also, what about the Congress? What does it mean for the Congress as the main opposition party? Can it hold its own? And does this give a further mandate to Prime Minister Modi? So joining me on this discussion is Pawan Varma from the JDU, Dr. Swamy from the BJP, Pavan Khera from the Congress, and Mr. Nalapat, Editorial Director of the Sunday Guardian. Dr. Swamy, so Prime Minister Modi has got further fillip with Pawan Varma's party also coming in.
Well, we achieved absolute majority in votes once the Shashikala faction decided to unilaterally support our candidate.
That was the first.
But that sort of took us across the line. His was more the qualitative appreciation. His parties, they were with us and then they buzzed off. And now, if they're getting closer, we are old colleagues, so we have no problem welcoming them back.
Okay. Pavan, is this, as I said, a one-time situation, or is this a gradual shift away from them and closer to this party?
I think we've made our position clear. First of all, Mr. Nitish Kumar believes that the choice of the President of India is not necessarily an issue of political confrontation. In Mr. Ramnath Kovind, who was the governor of Bihar, and with whom he had interacted closely for 2 years, he found a candidate who had maintained constitutional propriety, maintained the impartiality which the office of governor deserves, showed the courtesies that he should have, and he felt that he is a person who has the qualities to fill the post, the highest post of the land. He therefore supported him on merits. And he had done that, as you may recall, even when he was a member of the NDA. He had broken ranks to support Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, who in those circumstances he felt was a better candidate. So on issues as well as matters of choice of candidates, he would rather go on the merits of the situation, and certainly he doesn't believe that either for the foundations of opposition unity or for any ideological reason, the choice of the person for the president's post is a matter of political confrontation.
Mr. Nalapat, do you buy Pavan's theory? Because there is also another theory which says that had the Congress announced Meera Kumar first, then they may have even supported her. So did they miss the boat?
No, I think he's absolutely right. I think there is a very close relationship between Mr. Kovind and Nitish Kumar. I think Nitish Kumar is a gentleman, and he has gone and placed a premium on political friendships. I think that's a very wise thing on his part and a very unusual thing in politics, because in politics, frankly, it's expediency and not personal friendships that matter.
Friendship and merit.
Friendship, I would use the word friendship.
Familiarity.
Through the friendship, you see the merit. Merit comes through the filter of friendship. So I think it speaks well of Nitish Kumar that he has an independent mindset, and quite frankly, I mean, in my opinion, he must be very uncomfortable in the company he has, and he must be frankly wondering whether he made entirely the right decision in changing the BJP for Mr. Lalu Yadav.
Pavan, are you a bit worried because this was supposed to be the first test for Modi versus the rest? You said let's get the opposition together, let's at least give them a good fight, and your main ally has deserted you.
No, I don't know where this test thing came up. I think it came up in the media and died there.
Not died, it's still alive.
Opposition unity is always issue based. You cannot play big brother and crush regional identities, regional aspirations. That's not the way the Congress works. By the way, ever since its inception, NDA lost 21 partners and the UPA just lost 3 partners. So it also reflects the way we behave with our partners. Shiv Sena, for example, only yesterday they came to blows with each other. Now that's what is some kind of a split in an alliance. Now, alliance does not mean that forced alliance of contradictions. It's a modern day marriage. There is no space for triple talaq, but we respect each other's space. So don't think that we are in a hurry to wish each other talaq.
You are not in a hurry.
I'm saying both of us. You can ask him.
I think on that too, we have made our position very clear. We are not joining the BJP. And we believe that the project of opposition unity is not an ad hoc, casual, sporadic, reactive exercise. Mr. Nitish Kumar recently very clearly articulated that what is required, if at all you wish to achieve that goal, is a credible narrative which offers an alternative vision of India. That needs to be buttressed or supported by investment in creating an organizational framework which is pan-Indian. Merely repeating the slogan of opposition unity is unlikely to create it, or temporary unity which is partial in nature on contingent issues cannot be a response to the need in a democracy of a strong opposition. So therefore, what we feel is that the kind of energy that needs to be invested at the moment in the plank and platform or forum of opposition unity has not been invested. And let us put the sequence right.
Do you buy all this, or is this, are you reading between the lines? And
See, from the vantage point I'm in, so far the Congress and its other quote-unquote secular groupings have worked on what I would put it starkly. I mean, there is a more sophisticated way of saying it, but starkly that they want to have a consolidated vote of the minorities, and through the caste system divide the Hindu vote. Now, we have been for last 5-6 years working on the theory that if we can do the opposite, namely consolidate the Hindus by this appeal to make all castes to the extent possible rise above their caste loyalties and think of themselves as Hindus. And that happened in 2014 when our vote went up from 21% to 31% BJP per se, and another 9% through the NDA. And try and see if we can break the minorities. And in Shias we have been some success. With women we have had a lot of success, particularly in UP. And so that strategy actually makes it difficult for this alliance that was put together against us to survive, because their vote banks are all these caste groupings, and that we are eroding. And for a future survival, my guess is that Nitish would come back to us.
Pavan, any comments on that?
No, I think I have already stated the position very clearly. But you see, beyond merely success in being a relentless electoral machine, in terms of strategizing, there are some larger issues which are also animating the nation, which I think all parties need to grapple with. There is a rampant and pervasive agrarian crisis. There is the situation of an acute lack of jobs. And Dr. Swamy himself has commented more than once on the manner in which the economy at a macro scale is being handled. These are issues which affect people irrespective of their caste or their religion. And I think the opposition needs to far more proactively grapple with these issues rather than being merely reactive and actually working in response to somebody else's agenda. The issues are there for you. There is also the issue, incidentally, which is a byproduct of what was just mentioned, which is the great project of the maintenance of religious and social harmony. I don't use the word secularism anymore because it's often treated by people like a four-letter word. But religious and social harmony in a country like India's is one of the fundamental necessities to keep India as a whole. The idea is not to create the winning caste or religious combination. The idea is to create a winning India with strong foundations. So I really feel that we in the opposition have to first get our priorities right. And that, I'm afraid, as so far has not been done with the kind of energy that needs to go into it.
That's fair enough, Dr. Nalapat. The opposition needs to get its own narrative together. You know, if they want allies, and the Congress, I guess, as being the main party, should take the lead.
No, but the problem is what exactly is the ideology of the opposition. Now, Rahul Gandhi, for example, if Rahul Gandhi had taken a very bold stand in favor of modern economics, in favor of a modern society, it would have been quite refreshing. For example, the English language. Now, none of these people have anything to say about the English language, despite the fact that, in my opinion, the Hindi belt is the belt that is most interested in learning the English language. Now, you know,
Adityanath has made it compulsory.
He has made it compulsory. In fact, in I think one more state, Uttarakhand, if I remember, it's happened
and in
there
some
also.
respects, the BJP is making Hindi compulsory.
Thanks to
which
GST.
has its own repercussions in the south.
But you know, I want to say, Priya, the left parties, for example, are still stuck in Mao Zedong economics. China has moved beyond Deng Xiaoping, and these chaps are still stuck with Chairman Mao. So the problem is, what is ideology? Is it Prakash Karat's ideology? Is it Rahul Gandhi's ideology? And frankly, I can't make out what his ideology is. Or is it Nitish Kumar ideology? Of these three, I would say I prefer Nitish Kumar because he has shown that he is a pragmatic person.
Pragmatic person who would rather be, you know, I know Pavan will deny it, but he's seeing his, you know, chances are more with the BJP rather than a dying opposition. You know, he may be the face, the PM face, but of what? So you're not really offering a very viable platform for your own allies to get the public.
As Dr. Varma rightly said, it's not the question of ideology and, you know, fighting over archaic ideologies at times, I feel. We are united in the suffering. This country is now getting united in the suffering. Whether it's demonetization, whether it's the ham-handed way
in UP, look at it.
Wait.
I would have agreed with you.
The effect of
UP.
demonetization is being felt now by the farmers when they got their crops. So it's not like, you know, gradually you get the effect. It's jobless growth, and no growth and no jobs, of course. And, you know, you talk about president election, they didn't support us, the opposition unity is gone. Dr. Swamy has been the biggest critic of the finance minister of India and the part-time defense minister of India. Does not mean that the BJP is heading towards a split. So, it's, and in the vice presidential election, we are told that we are meeting together, all of us. So, these things happen, you know, they support someone, we don't support someone, that's a,
and there are the RSS affiliates, especially the Bharatiya
Kisan Union.
Mazdoor Sangh, who have their own ideas of economics which could be very different from that of the BJP. In other words,
and they are more archaic than Chairman Mao's
essential point is that in any grouping, there is scope for a healthy dialogue or at least a difference of opinion. But I'm afraid right now in the opposition, there has not even been an attempt to form a consensus on what we agree about, leave alone what we disagree about. And I'm afraid that is not the way you go about trying to oppose a very organized, as I said, electoral machine like the BJP.
But also, Dr. Swamy, nature abhors a vacuum. So if they are not giving you opposition, you will find it amongst yourselves by various people.
Well, see, one advantage we have, which is not articulated, nor our critics will concede that. We are perhaps the only party amongst the major parties which is not family or personality based. Although
personality based?
No, he can't decide. Modi has to go with a consensus. And the clear example is UP, the Chief Minister of UP. So Modi also comes from that same background. I mean, he was a pracharak, please don't forget. So every one of us have grievances, but we have the satisfaction that, well, somewhere along the time people listen to some adjustments are made. In GST, for example, I was about to go to court. And then the Prime Minister's office reached out to me and said, tell us the two most important things that you think needs to be rectified. And both were rectified. So that kind of, you don't feel that this is this family's party and I have to be good with them, then only I will survive, etc. So that, I'm not critical of the fact, because every party has a model on how it wants to build the party. But our party's strength is, and that's why it's been through terrible defeats and has come up, is that it's a party of mutual equilibrium of a number of units of the party.
Mutual equilibrium had him shaking his head.
No, I'll tell you, in fact, I'm a little surprised at the position of the BJP today. Because it has never been a party which has so consciously built up such a personality cult around one individual figure. There was always, as mentioned,
also?
No. There was Vajpayee and there was Mr. Advani. And there was a large collegium
there
which
still
also...
was Mr. Advani.
No, there was in that government. And there used to be, I think, something that we respect, even if we may oppose the BJP on many things, a larger forum for interaction and exchange of views, although a certain ideology was dominant in a constant way. But now in recent times, we have a situation, Priya, where there is either one individual or literally nobody else.
Yes.
I mean, and you can ask this from BJP legislators themselves and workers in the party. Senior ministers tread carefully lest they cross a certain line.
And we're going to come back to this point. I think Mr. Pavan Varma raised a very important point, but stay with us. Welcome back to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, we are here discussing the fallout of the presidential elections. As to we see various parties realigning themselves. Is this a one-time affair or is it actually something more permanent? Mr. Nalapat, before the break, we were talking about the personality cult. He's of course saying that there's no one else in the BJP. But I would like to widen this and say there's no one else, even if I look in the opposition, who will take on Mr. Modi?
Well, I just want to say that Mr. Modi is very lucky in his enemies. And he's also very lucky in the fact that everybody is concentrating on him. And as a consequence, what's happening is that it's helping him to basically, to develop a very significant persona, not only in India, but globally. Now, we saw this, for example, in a different way. When a huge attack came on him when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. He was the most attacked BJP leader. I mean, quite frankly, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi have a very comfortable relationship. They like each other.
With each other.
There was really no attack at all in that point of view.
Despite Dr. Swamy's best efforts.
Well, but then as far as Mr. Modi is concerned, he's been under consistent attack. And this attack has definitely, in a sense, made him the alternative to the people who are attacking him. So when the people who are attacking him became less and less popular, automatically he became more and more popular. Of course, now that he is Prime Minister, it will depend on his performance.
Pavan, all this really boils down to the Congress as the main opposition party, as a national party. Where is your leader?
No, I agree with Mr. Varma that we need to get our story right as a united opposition. And that evolves, and it's partly also reaction to the horrible policies, horrible performance of this government, which of course doesn't get reflected in the media stories, unfortunately. But that, I'm sorry, is a part of our opposition. We have to react to how do we articulate people's angst? We have to. But he's right, we also need our own story, right? And that we, of course, together we are working on that story.
Blaming the media is very easy, but give us something positive that you are doing that.
I'm just complimenting this government for having cultivated the media so well. I'm not blaming the media.
No, you first broke their backbone, then we have taken over.
Media has always been
you showed them the way.
UPA 2, the media, it was the media story against us all along.
Apart from ideology...
They're all agreeing that they're bullying the media. I'm getting worried over here. Pavan, sorry.
Apart from the ideology, which I believe the BJP is completely clear about, but which the opposition has to get right in terms of the priorities as of today. There is also the question of strategy. There were many instances where I believe the opposition did not get its act together. I can name Assam, I can name Jharkhand, I can name Maharashtra, I can name Goa, I can say now the biggest challenge is Gujarat, I will say UP. So the point is that there were winnable situations, or at least situations where you could do much better, where the opposition as a whole must introspect with the searchlight squarely on them, rather than merely being reactive to what is happening in the BJP, to see what can be put right. And that is a challenge which the opposition has not yet grasped. We need to reassess, re-evaluate, and as I said, introspect about these things.
And they don't have much time to do that.
Priya, my point is, this is a young country. I mean, more than 60% of the population is below 30 years of age. This is the 21st century. And when I look at, I mean, the way, the kind of the policies that are being promoted, I mean, almost all of them are 19th century, 20th century. We are still talking about more regulation, more laws, more taxation, you know, more curbs on citizens' freedoms. Now, even today, for example, we have this monstrosity in a democracy called criminal defamation, which is used by every politician and every corrupt businessman to scare individuals from talking.
I try to remove it. Don't say every politician.
I agree with you. I mean, barring a few.
You can say every crooked politician.
Yes. That's right. No, so the point is, I mean, I expected Rahul Gandhi, frankly, to be a little more open about this kind of thing and to go in for a modern 21st century policy. But unfortunately, he's going the way of his father. Now, I was very fond of Rajiv Gandhi. He could have been a change agent. But unfortunately, even when he became General Secretary of the party, very quickly the senior leadership house trained him. As Prime Minister, the senior bureaucracy house trained him. And he quickly, you know, forgot about all the ideas that he believed in. So, you know, the point about the Congress party, frankly, it's got a young leadership, but it doesn't have young ideas.
Does it also have a young leadership or leadership in absence?
No. We have a lot of young leaders. In fact, the maximum number of young MPs came from the Congress in UPA 1.
And what did they do with that mandate? It was a huge...
That we'll see what this government has done with the mandate. That the electorate will decide, just as they decided against us. Let's see. On defamation, Rahul Gandhi stands exactly where you and Dr. Swamy stood. He made his stand very clear.
He was in power.
No. He made his stand very clear. So, in fact, a lot of reforms that came under him. But that does not mean you ignore the farmers of this country. If you mean that, when you say modern policy, you can't ignore the farmers, the poor. And he's always lent his voice very actively, whether he was in government. He was never in government, of course. But despite that, he ensured the loan waiver, he ensured a lot of reforms, the food security, the right to education, everything came through NSC, but Rahul Gandhi was a driving force.
But, are you a bit worried, just to shift the focus a bit away from Rahul Gandhi, farmers' suicides, you know, also this whole narrative of lynching?
One way, yes, it shouldn't happen. That way we are worried. But we are convinced, at least I am convinced, that it is not numbers-wise anything that's suddenly
Departure from
bloomed.
the
Yeah. I think it's, I could argue, if you have a special discussion on that, I'll bring the statistics.
Okay.
We find that it's just the attention being given, we didn't give that kind of focused attention when we were in the opposition to the same thing. But here, you see, there's no follow-up. Now take Bahadurgarh Harijan family being burnt alive. That was the first thing we started in 2014. Now, after the investigation, it turns out that there was a family dispute. So one section of the family burnt the other section for the sake of property. Or many other issues, for instance, this church attacks. Invariably, for example, in New Bombay, the anti-socials were doing, you know, playing whatever this jua or whatever it's called, outside the court premises. So these people complained.
No, fair enough. What about what is happening now? The cow vigilantism, the
not
even the PM has finally taken note of it.
PM has gone an extra step. But I would say, no, there's not a single office bearer of BJP or a prominent member of BJP or Bajrang Dal or any of them in any of these cases. That's why I'm saying I'm not come here with the statistics, otherwise I'll show it to you. Okay. And if you go and see the people who are in jail in, say, Saharanpur, you will not find a single BJP person there. Now, if you say that, well, the BJP government didn't arrest them, then tell me the name who should have been arrested. That nobody does.
Okay, I'm going to put both the Pavans are objecting to this, your objections on record, but I'm afraid we run out of time, so we'll end this show now. But thank you for watching, and we'll call them back for another show, Mr. Dr. Swamy with the statistics and these two with the objections.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
But that's it for now. Thank you for watching this show. We'll see you again same time next week.